Hi everyone, it's CVFM Radio Community Show and welcome. We are running slightly late because we've just come in behind Idris and Mayor Preston. Martin, what did you think of that?
It went on a while, didn't it? You know, I mean, come on, which show is coming in more important, us or them? Oh, honestly.
Well,
but yeah, quite a few things to be said on that show, so I'm sure there'll be commentaries to follow.
Very much so. And also as well, listeners, we do actually using, hence why we are just slightly running a little late. And you might actually notice as well is that I am sitting in yet another beautiful backdrop of a home.
It's amazing where you sit, Anne.
I know.
How you do that decoration in 1 week, I'm just flabbergasted. I mean, you really want your home makeover program.
I tell you one thing, I also, as well, is if you notice, I've got a microphone sticking out the side of my screen, and I just feel as though all I need is the piano. I could tinkle away. We've already got some comments on there, and we've got Matthew Rowe. Hello, Matthew. So pleased that we've actually got people watching still. So, Martin, before we actually introduce our first guest, who have we got on the show this evening? Because it really is a packed.
Yeah, it's going to be very packed, actually. Very packed. Like sardines in a tin, we'll have nothing. We've got some wonderful gentlemen who are doing a walk called Miles for Middlesbrough. So we'll hear from them. We've got Cllr Matt Storey with a few things he wants to pick up. Yeah. We've got the lovely Tonia Nixon who's talking about period poverty. And then we've got the fantastic Annalise Argyle, who comes from she's got a fascinating background because she's actually a recovering addict, or she was, and she set up an organisation to help other people, and she recently won an award at the Tea Businesswoman Award, so that should be fascinating. We've got some guy called Dean. We've got somebody called Dean Moore. I don't know who this Dean Moore chap is, but anyway, we'll find out later on. And then we're ending, I hope we're ending when we still have time, with Ellie Lowther, who's going to be talking about LGBT History Month, which, you know, history. I love history. So, hey, yeah, packed program. Let's get going.
Well, can I just say, Martin, don't forget, look at me so that at least you actually can see as well when I'm sort of jumping in.
Everybody flipped over there.
Well, everybody who's actually in the feed is currently laughing because I'm there going, look at me. Matthew Rose asked how everybody is whilst I get Stephen and Gary in. How are you, Martin?
Matthew, the answer is we're slightly frantic because we're short of time and we're trying to get through the program. So, yeah, we're good. And we hope you are as well.
Well, I'm just going to unmute our first guest because I absolutely love what they're doing. The guys are looking to walk 783 miles and they're doing it for lots of charities. Hi, guys. How are we this evening?
Very well, thanks, Anne. And thanks for having us on the show.
Oh, well, Stephen, tell us a little bit about what you are actually doing.
Yeah, basically, the concept came up from Gary. Now, Gary's the kind of guy, he rings you at 6 o'clock in the morning. You don't need an alarm clock, essentially. So basically, what we're doing it for is for 6 local organisations, fantastic organisations that have supported communities throughout the COVID crisis. I don't know, Gary, chip in when you can here. But yeah, basically, we know that local organisations are struggling, and we want to give something back around that. Now, the 783 miles that you mentioned, Dan, we've smashed that, and our target now is to get to Middlesbrough, USA. But we've got some mileage to go, so we're hoping at least to get to New York. So we've done something like 2,900 miles so far. Yeah.
Well, Gary, I'm just going to put you in the feed. How is the challenge? How are you coping with the challenge?
Well, between the 6 of us, the kind of key 6 who kind of got around the table and said, "Do you fancy doing this?" there's loads of different kind of people at different strengths. I'm one of the last ones. I'm not very good, so I do struggle my 5K. But then we've got some other guys like John Clifford and Steve Dowler who just, wow, they're turning the road up, to be fair, and they're doing really well. But we done that between the 6 of us, but we didn't think the community were going to get involved, the people of Middlesbrough were going to get involved like they did, and that's been the encouraging part about it as well, is to get through this lockdown. And we've watched so many videos and kind of people putting the business on, people who wouldn't normally get out there. It's been great, so really happy with that part.
And how much have you actually raised so far, Stephen?
I think we've hit 2,600. So our original target's £5,000. We've still got some way to go, but I think we're confident, aren't we, Gary, that we're going to raise some more within the next 2 weeks. So we're going to do some like kind of fun activities as well along the way. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think we can probably add another £500 on top of that on kind of cash donations and stuff like that. So we are up to £3,000, and we've got a big push on next Sunday. We're doing a walk to Redcar as the final push, and we're going to do a dip in the sea as well, just to try and get some more interest. And yeah, we've picked the right seasons for it, haven't we?
Can I ask, will you be doing a full Monty, or will people be paying extra for that?
Extra socks down below.
I don't know. I think some of the lads now, after there'll be 6 weeks of 5K, so I reckon there's a lot of them in shape, but I think I've gone the other way, to be fair. I think I've started to eat more takeaways because I feel I can, because I'm doing 5K every day.
Exactly the same, Gary.
Well, one thing I've noticed is Carl and Stu, they are coaches. Are they actually fitness coaches?
Yeah, so we've got Steve Dowler. He's a boxing coach. Carl Valley's got his own fitness company. They take it a lot more serious than what we do, as you can probably see by some of the videos. But yeah, they are. So that's what I'm saying, is how diverse the group is. Some of us, like me and Steve, were sat behind a desk most of the day, while them two just, I see Steve Dowling going up and down Martin Road probably 3 times a day. So they've took to it. And there's some other people within Middlesbrough, I'd call Dom, and sorry, he's from Thornaby, and I just watch the miles he does. I get up in the morning and he's smashed about 10 miles. It just gives you that, right, I need to get up myself, and it gives you that get up and go as well. I think that's been a great outcome from that. It is supporting a lot of people who think, oh, there's loads of us exactly the same.
Well, can I just say to you, we did the John O'Groats to Land's End with Martin, with Mark White, and also the Glenda. And the one thing was that obviously Martin, who is Mr. Fitness, up at 4 o'clock doing walks and everything, and Mark, I don't think, had actually done more than 10,000 on his watch. And by the end of it, we were all really getting into the spirit of it. And we were actually doing it for the hearing dogs, because Martin is actually profoundly deaf. So, and another reason why Martin isn't actually joining in at the moment is because he can't hear what we're actually saying. Are you okay, Martin? Do you need a thumbs up or thumbs down?
All I'm getting is a sort of interfering sound, and so intermittent. So don't worry, you carry on.
Okay. Well, we've got some.
Good luck, lads.
Yes. Dean Moore has said, great lads on here, but can't believe he's wearing a headscarf. Who's wearing a headscarf?
He said a headset. I knew that would come from Dean. A couple of reasons why I'm wearing it. The kids are in the background causing havoc. Yeah. I've also, as you can see, I'm nursing a bit of a bad head.
What did you do?
Beameretti pumps and black ice don't go. So I had a little bit of a fall the weekend. So I was putting them on, and I was trying to get him as far across the headset so he didn't see it, but it didn't work.
Well, can I just say, we do actually ask everybody if they can wear headsets because it actually stops interference. So thank you so much for wearing a headset. And I do expect Dean Moore to be wearing a headset as well. But obviously, Lee Fisher has said, I will walk to Red Car with you and Stephen and Gary if you let me know what time you're setting off, etc. So what time are you planning to set off, guys?
Yeah, so next Sunday, like you say, it'll all be done the right way as well. We'll be setting off in twos, and we'll be setting off around about 1 o'clock, and then hopefully getting there. Steve, you were the man with the figures.
Yeah, I'll put the schedule out there, Gary. Yeah, but we'll make sure it's COVID secure and socially distanced, of course. So yeah, we'll promote it on the Active Tees Valley page.
Brilliant. And so I wanted to ask you as well, what's this bonus ball thing you're doing?
Gary won that as well, you know. I think it was a fix.
It's just these are local people in our local area who are just doing whatever they can to raise money for these 6 amazing charities. Yeah. So a guy called Wayne Erwin just come up and said, Gary, can I do a bonus ball? So basically what he'd done, pulled it together, and everyone chips in, buys a number, it gets drawn, and whoever wins it gets a percentage of the money, and the donation goes to Martin Millsborough. And there's been loads of different kind of organisations in different communities. We've had four like headline sponsors who've given large amounts of money as well to get us up there, including PC Scaffolding, CS Flooring, Ducey Limited, Bespoke Financial. So it's been great, considering we're in like difficult times as well, for people to step up and make a donation and to kind of support us. It's been great. So I think that's the benefit of all this. And as Steve was saying earlier on around the 6 charities, why we kind of come up with our concept is a lot of people that say the NHS got overwhelmed. So do these small kind of charities. So all we're trying to do is give a bit back, say thank you for what they're doing, in order for them to continue the great work that they're doing.
Well, I just want to mention the charities that are actually going to be benefiting. Tees Valley Together, the White Feather Project, St Thomas's Church, Ronnie's Cafe, Youth Focus Northeast, and UCA Eco Shop, and which is just absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, we do loads of work like with all of them, and we do a lot of our work in East Middlesbrough where we know it's quite challenging, and these times certainly haven't helped that. And some of the work that they do is brilliant, and you just see them on Facebook every day, and they just go, they're like unsung heroes, aren't they? They just go out there and they just do what they do, and they don't bat an eyelid. So yeah, I'm quite proud, and so Steve and the lads involved, to be kind of doing this.
Oh, well, thank you so much, guys, for coming on this evening and sharing. Now, for anybody who wants to donate, you do have a GoFundMe page, and it is gofundme.com/F/Miles-for-Middlesbrough, or you've got the Facebook page as well, haven't you, Stephen?
Yeah, the Active Tees Valley page, we promote mainly every day about the miles that we're doing. Coach Dowler gives a motivational speech as well where he calls people out, but the details are on there.
Oh, brilliant. Well, so tell us again, because I know I've got Martin coming in. Don't go away, Martin. So tell us again, what's the Facebook page we need to have a look at as well?
Active Tees Valley is the Facebook page.
Okay, so Active Tees Valley, everybody. Good luck, and we're going to keep an eye on what you do next weekend. And obviously, if anybody is thinking of sponsoring, maybe for you to be putting on extra socks or taking off extra socks, I'm sure you could raise more money.
Oh, I don't know about that. They'll probably take money off us.
Well, there you go. More money to keep your clothes on. That's what I say. Anyway, take care, guys, and thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks, Anne. Thanks, Martin.
Thanks for your time. Cheers, man.
Oh, thank you. Martin, can you hear me?
I can hear you. There was a lot of interference in that last one. I just couldn't make anything out.
Oh, my lovely. Oh, gosh, I've got Ellie on. Ellie Lowther. I was just about to put Matt Storey in the stream, and we got the wonderful Ellie Lowther on instead, who was just looking.
That's not Ellie Lowther. That's Matt Storey. I recognise him anywhere.
I tell you one thing, I'm going to have a big, whilst we've got Matt there, have you seen those headphones? They actually look as if they're actually a pair of earmuffs. Are they earmuffs, my lovely?
They actually are. Well, I didn't have earphones on, and I heard you say, no, everyone has to have earphones on, and I thought, actually. So these are the only ones I could get to hand, so this is what we've got.
Oh, well, we'll see you a little bit later, my lovely.
Yes,
Take care. All right. See you, love. Oh, I am absolutely loving that. That's ingenuity, isn't it, isn't it, Martin?
It looked interesting. That's all I'm going to say.
It really does. Now, let's introduce our next guest. Matt Storey, Councillor Matt Storey. Always an absolute pleasure to have you on the show, Matt. How are you doing this evening?
I'm very well, and always a pleasure to be here. Really inspired by the guys and their charity efforts there. It's fantastic.
Well, we thought we'd actually have something inspiring, etc., to start the show, because we've just had the mayor on beforehand, so we thought we'd get it a little bit of a break. And before we got yourself on, did you actually listen to the mayor?
I didn't actually know. I was doing the kids' tea and getting them ready for bath time. So no, I missed it, unfortunately.
Oh, wow. Well, we've actually had some interesting comments on there. Actually, Matt, I wanted to ask you, Linthorpe cycle scheme, that was actually mentioned. The fact that it's going to be taking out 50 parking spaces, and you and your fellow councillors have objected against it, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, we've got some concerns. I think one of the things we're trying to stress for everybody is we want to see major investment in cycle lanes. It's really important, especially after COVID, because people aren't going to want to get on buses. That's going to be highly likely that people won't want to get on buses. It's going to be a difficult environment once we get out of COVID. So cycles and pedestrian people walking about and getting on bikes is going to be really important. So we want to see investment. The concerns we've got is that businesses have raised concerns about the level of consultation that was done, and also whether or not Linthorpe Road is the right area for this investment. And one of the things we're saying is there's already some provision for cycling on Martin Road, on Cllr Road, and there's lots of off-road cycling routes around the town. And could we maybe look at directing the investment in those areas which wouldn't have the disruption on business that Linthorpe Road does? And is that a better option? And we're just asking the council to reconsider that and take another look at it.
Yeah, because I picked up my ears when it was mentioned, and Andy said that experts say that this area is this place is the actual. This will make a difference by having it on Linthorpe Road. And experts, this is the report, because they said that the consultation was from December to the end of January, and that there was a report, obviously, about all this. Have you seen the report?
I wouldn't say I've seen a report. I mean, I've asked questions about this to officers, and they've been very honest with me, provided us with details about what consultation that they say has taken place. And I don't dispute any of that, but businesses don't feel that the consultation that happened was enough. They don't feel as though they've had their voices heard, and some of them are saying that they didn't receive letters or weren't informed of things, and that can sometimes happen with consultations. It's not always a perfect process, and sometimes things can go amiss. But I think the concern I would have is that we need to make sure we bring businesses along with us. We're coming out of COVID. Some of these are smaller businesses that have very tight margins. And what I wouldn't want to do is is inhibit their businesses and try and hold them back when they're trying to come back after COVID and rebuild their businesses up. So we're not saying don't do it. We're not saying no cycle lane investment, but what we are trying to say is that the level of concern we've received is very unusual. This isn't something that often happens. but myself, councillors in Newport and in Park Ward all represent Linthorpe Road, and the amount of correspondence we've had has been quite staggering. Actually, it's been a huge amount of people contacting us and saying they've got concerns, and we just thought it was legitimate to say, could we take another swing at this and see if there were alternatives? Like I say, there is provision on Martin Road. One of my colleagues, David Branson, he cycles in on Martin Road every day, and as he cycles in, his concern is you get a bit of cycle path, then there's a big gap, then there's a bit more cycle path, and it's kind of bitty, and there's not that sense of it being continuous all the way into the centre. And that is a key route. So, you know, we're trying to say, are there other routes and are there other places we could direct the funding? That's really the point we're trying to make.
And at the end of the day, it's positive for everybody in Middlesbrough, isn't it? And also tourists that are coming to the area as well. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, we've got a good record in Middlesbrough in terms of cycling, and we can always do more. But you know, our cycle centre at Middlesbrough bus station is one of a kind, really, on Teesside. It provides a lot of provision in terms of showers and making sure people can park the bikes there and lock them up. We do cycle schemes through the council where employers can allow employees to get cycles and to have them paid for and supported through the council. We had the Tour de Yorkshire come to Middlesbrough in I think it was 2015, 2016. So the Tour de Yorkshire came here, and that was fantastic having that stage here. It did encourage a lot of cycles, and some of the kind of sculpture and the work that was done around the public realm, that's still there. People can still see the bikes that people, the yellow and blue bikes that were painted up. You know, it's still around the town, and I think we've got a good record on cycling, but we can always do more. And I think it's great to see the investment. We just want it directed in the right way. Yeah, and talking about investment as well, we were chatting about the investment in the railway station. Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic. You know, I've said it many times. It's so important to have that link, that direct link to London. We've got a lot of really exciting developments happening in Middlesbrough, and in Middlehaven at the minute, you've got flats and apartments being built, and Boho is expanding the digital sector. And all those people who are going to work there and hopefully live in those properties over in Middlehaven, we want them to be able to kind of hop on the train, go to London for the business meetings, meet other people in the sector, network, and expand their businesses by having that direct link. And the economic benefits that will bring will be absolutely huge. It's been a tremendous effort to get it done. You know, the current council has completed the work, and the officers who've worked so hard in transport, it's been a fantastic. But, you know, great credit has to go to Andy MacDonald, the Member of Parliament, who's been calling for this since he was elected in 2012. He's been working tirelessly with Network Rail, as has Mayor Dave Budd, who was the previous mayor. And the current council as well has done a lot of work to finish this off and get it over the line. And we're now at the point where we've got that investment coming in. TVC and Ben Houchin have invested in the station as well. And the hope is that it won't just stop here. We'll get the link to London, but also we'll have that total renovation of the building as well, which, you know, if you've seen the plans for that, it looks absolutely fantastic. It's really exciting. And it's really important, that link to London, because Mayor Preston was talking about trying to get jobs out of government, out of London, up to the northeast of England. Yeah, absolutely. The civil service jobs. I mean, Middlesbrough is the place for these jobs to come to. It is the absolutely critical place for these jobs to come to. There is no better location in Tees Valley than Middlesbrough for these jobs. And what we don't want is for the jobs to be sent to some out-of-town centre outside of the airport or somewhere else where it's on an industrial estate and it's detached from the economic centres of Tees Valley, because all that'll happen is the people will come up here from Whitehall, they'll come on the train on a Monday and they'll go back on a train on a Friday. And we don't want that. We want them to come here and we want them to stay and work here. And that's why Middlesbrough is the place for those jobs. We've got a master plan for Centre Square with office blocks ready to go. The plan applications just need some basic amendments. The floor space is exactly what the civil service would want. It's exactly the right kind of buildings, and they could go straight in there. And the added value to the economy, those people will work here, will go and drink and eat in the pubs and restaurants. They'll bring so much value to the town. And after COVID, and once we start seeing the economy opening up again, that kind of extra investment and those jobs will be absolutely critical to the economic vitality of the town. So yeah, absolutely, those jobs need to come. And that link to London will make it so easy for people.
to do that. And if we can have that housing offer as well, so people can live here and work here, get all those added benefits, it's absolutely essential.
Well, when he mentioned it, I was there thinking, well, look at the BBC. They came out of London to Manchester. Media City has been created and everything around it, around the waterways there. And the amount of people that now, well, obviously, that are living there and everything that's been produced from Media City in Manchester. Why can't we have one of those with the civil service in Middlesbrough?
Absolutely. We've got to have that level of ambition. We've got to believe in Middlesbrough's ability to draw that kind of investment into the town. There is no good reason why we can't have that. We've seen enough times in the past where civil service jobs have been promised to Middlesbrough. That whole area of Centre Square, all that housing that used to be the terraces along from the library, the terraces down Russell Street, all of that was cleared when Margaret Thatcher promised to bring civil service jobs to Middlesbrough in the early 80s, and it didn't happen. Thatcher knocked that on the head, and we lost out on that. We can't afford for that to keep happening. Manchester and Newcastle, they'll always draw in that investment. But if we can bring it here and get that additional value to our economy in Middlesbrough, the change and the difference it would make to us here will be absolutely enormous. So absolutely, I mean, I couldn't agree more. Those jobs have to come here. That rail link will be critical to that. But we have a fantastic offer for the government, and they need to listen to the offer that's being put forward.
Well, Matt, thank you so much for coming on this evening. I have Martin popping in and out of this feed, and I apologise if you can keep hearing pipping sounds, because poor Martin is having a huge problem this evening. Are you back with us, Martin? No, he is. Oh no, Martin, you're right. You unmute your mic, kid. Okay, so he needs to unmute his mic. So, but Matt, I'm going to let you go. And will you come back next month and give us another update, please?
Absolutely. Anytime. Just ask. No problem.
No problem. Well, you take care, Matt. And thank you so much for coming on.
Okay, thanks, Anne.
Bye. Well, Martin, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Fantastic. Can I let everybody know that I have literally been speaking to Martin whilst trying to speak to Matt as well. And it's been quite stressful, Martin, without my wing commander sitting there joining in, because I don't actually have all the notes this evening. You've got all the notes.
Well, I apologise for that. I can just about... all I would say is you must have been a radiant success, because you always are.
Oh, well, do you know something? I love you, Martin, and you know that. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in our next guest. We have so many people sitting in the feed at the moment. We've lost her. Tonia, we're trying to bring you in. I've got you removed. We're going to add you. Tonia, have you got your... I don't know. She's disappeared. So I'm just going to kick her from the studio and I'm going to get her to come back in again. So our next guest is Tonia Nixon. She is the Tees founder of Tees CIO. She's also Tees Period, Incontinence Poverty Campaign, and the Tees Clothing Bags, and the Tees Rapid Response. So I'm just hoping she's going to be popping in. And basically, their slogan is changing people's lives through food, clothing, toiletries across Tees Valley. So Martin, doesn't look like she's popped herself back in. So what I think we might do...
Dear. Actually, suddenly you're very clearer. I'm not quite sure what happened there.
Oh, well, there you go. I'm clearer and I'm bigger on the screen. Well, what I'm going to do is I think we should just bring in the next guest, which is Annalise Argyle. So there you go, Martin. Hello, Annalise. How are you this evening?
Hi. Thanks for inviting me on.
Oh, my pleasure. Martin, I'm going to put you big. Can you hear us okay?
I can hear you at the moment. Annalise, this is proven to be my worst nightmare this evening. I am really struggling to hear anybody. So bear with me, but, you know, I'm delighted to have you on the show. for listeners who don't know, Annalise heads up an organisation called Track UK Limited, and they do wonderful work, recovery work, which we'll go on to in a minute. But Annalise won an award at the Tea Businesswoman Award, a fantastic achievement. Congratulations.
Thank you.
But it's the backstory that really fascinates me, and I think will fascinate the listeners. Annalise, tell us, a bit about your background. First, your early life. Where did you come from?
So, where did I come from? So how do you mean how did I start my addiction?
Yeah, basically, what would your early life like? Okay,
so I had a really from the outside you would think a very middle class upbringing. From the outside it looked like I didn't want for anything. I had good parents. I went to good schools, but how I felt inside was what mattered, and I didn't feel like I belonged to the family. I didn't feel like I was worthy. I didn't have much self-esteem. I didn't have much confidence. I didn't have a very good relationship with my mum for a lot of reasons known to me, and I kind of think I've done a lot of healing from that, and I think through counselling and therapy and things, I think the relationship, my addiction stemmed from the relationship, but it was kind of like looking back at how my mum was what kind of life she had before she had me, looking back at ancestry, looking back at issues and demons that she hadn't solved that were projected onto me. And it's not that she was she'd meant to be that way, or she was a bad parent. It's just the way things were and the way I reacted to that. My mum came over from Switzerland when she was 18 and met my dad, and I was born in London and then moved up to the north. I think
so that background, that sort of, you were in an unstable, I think you would call it, family environment. Is that what led you towards alcohol, first of all, and drugs? Because that's the point where your life changes, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I first found alcohol when I was 14, and I raided I was supposed to be babysitting, and I raided the drinks cabinet with my friend of mine, and I got really, really, really drunk, and I was like staggering around the village and stuff. But I always remember that feeling that I got from that drink, and it made me feel whole. It made me feel, I was like, this is what I've been looking for all my life. This is it. And I think, on hindsight now, I know that it was what I was looking for, was this warm, loving feeling that I feel like I didn't get from my family environment. I did get that from my dad, but I didn't feel it with my mum, and that's that's just the way that was. And I would say that was the catalyst to know that when I did drink, it had a different effect on me. And as I got to know in years ahead, that effect was, I liked it too much. It had too much of an effect on me. It wasn't recreational; it was a medicine almost. It numbed my feelings of pain.
So you haven't discovered alcohol, and alcohol gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling. You're 14 years old. I mean, this is underage drinking, seriously. How did you access alcohol, and where did you get it from, and how serious did it become? Was it just once in a while?
So that was that. That didn't happen again for a while, and then at age 15, I used to go nightclubbing. And I was allowed in the nightclubs in the local area, and so drink was accessible from behind the bar. So I used to see, when I used to drink, like, I didn't just have a drink and think, well, okay, I'm going to have one and I'm going to leave that and I'm going to go to school in the morning or whatever. I would have to drink and drink and drink till I almost blacked out. And this carried on. I mean, and then I found raving, so I was taking ecstasy, I was taking speed. I then began taking cocaine on a daily basis through various acquaintances, because it's quite expensive stuff. So you can imagine, like, How'd you get hold of that?
How'd you get hold of cocaine at the age of 15? And the other thing I was going to ask you as well is the homelessness as well. Did that result in, cocaine? Tell us about cocaine.
Right. So cocaine. I mean, I still felt at that point that was a recreational drug that a lot of people took when they were out clubbing, or they just stayed in the house. And kind of my drug of choice was cocaine and Jack Daniels. And at the point, it's kind of, I suppose, boyfriends that I was with who could afford it. And kind of I would take the drugs with them. And then it escalated to crack cocaine. So it was kind of like a gradual from drinking to really liking these substances to raving to cocaine to crack cocaine. It was like a graduation almost. And then crack cocaine, I would say, actually finally, like, I hit rock bottom. I was my mum took my son, and social services got involved, and they brought my son. My mum ended up bringing my son up. I was involved in domestic violent relationships. I think it was all the kind of around the drugs as well, and the homelessness. So I was sofa surfing. That was what I was doing. I was sofa surfing from different houses, and then I ended up moving to London and trying to get away from my habit, and that didn't work either. I just picked it up. So I did the geographics, but it's been quite a long, complex story, and to where I am today. And I suppose I'm cutting a long story short, but like I'm 12 years clean and sober today. I don't touch anything. Like I just feel like I just want to. I'll probably get on my soapbox here, but I just kind of want to send that message out to especially women, like. Because I work a lot with women within the charity, that we can and do recover from adverse situations. It doesn't necessarily need to be drugs and alcohol. It can be anything really, and we can like change our lives and live a productive, life.
So how did what do you put as the crucial thing that changed your life? What who was it? What was it? Stepped in and changed that? Because the description you've given us, you could have been dead at 18. Dead at 19, dead at 20, any of those ages, because of what was going on there. You're not. You clearly have moved on from there. So what was it that turned that around?
It's really difficult, because for some people it could be an overnight thing. Something could just trigger that catalyst for change. But for me, it took time. It took different ways of trying to find a way out of this. Like I moved to London, and I entered a drug service, and this was in between like my boyfriend going back up to the north, coming back again and bringing drugs down, and I knew that in that environment I wouldn't be able to stay clean long. But in the interim, when he was going back up to the north, I would enter drug services, and somebody mentioned a 12-step fellowship to me. For anyone who doesn't know what the 12 steps is, it's Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, Cocaine Anonymous, and I entered those rooms, and I found and I identified with other people in those rooms, and I found that they were very welcoming and understood where I was coming from. And there was a lot of people who understood like as why I used drugs. They did too. It's not all of the story, but a lot of people did. And then I kind of moved back. It's kind of, sometimes when I tell my story, I get a bit mixed up because there's that much going on around trying to like stay clean. But I also went to a rehab, a born again women's Christian rehab called Teen Challenge in Wales. But that didn't last. That only lasted 5 weeks because I wasn't ready. I was kind of doing it for my parents at that point, and I wasn't ready myself to change. And I think that's really important, that you want to change yourself no matter what anybody else thinks or who you're doing it for. You need to do it for yourself. And then so there's a 12 steps, there's a rehab, there's stopping crack cocaine and swapping it for drink for 6 months. There's then thinking I'm fixed and not doing any work on myself, and then going back to crack cocaine again. So it's like the domestic violence of refuges, there's like so much in there. And then finally for the last 12 years, I moved to a place in Norton, and there was a man who moved in next door, and he said, "Do you want to change? Are you wanting to change your life?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And so he supported me into the local drug services, and then I didn't look back. And since then, I've worked within prisons. I've worked within local drug services, commissioned drug services. I've, set up meetings. I've I was a women's advocate worker, a peer mentor trainer. I've worked, and then that led me to set up my charity 7 years ago called Track UK, which is an independent advocacy service. So that was initially for men and women, and it still does work with men and women. But I changed Track into a charity from a community interest company, and now I have Lobster Recovery, which is the community interest company, which looks at housing and training to sustain the charity. And since COVID, I mean, it's always been my passion, women's recovery. And when I was working in the prison, I set up a women-only recovery group, which is on Facebook, and there's about 4,300 members on there. A lot of women looking for support, and it's on 24/7, and there's memes on there. And then when COVID hit, I knew that Track would evolve into what it was supposed to be, and it's very, very much evolved into a women's service, addicted women's service. And we do like walks and retreats in the community. We do yoga. We do lots of stuff. And COVID's been really, really difficult, but for me, it's been the catalyst for Track's transformation. It's like we've gone online and we do Zoom sessions, and that is just amazing, especially for women who face barriers. If they're on the internet and they can connect with me online, then I have lots going on, and childcare is an issue, dogs are an issue, domestic violence potentially,
And the thing is that they can be at home, sitting there in their pajamas, in their slippers, and they don't have to worry what people think they look like. And it really makes a difference, doesn't it?
It does. And you know what? There's like the anxiety as well. If you're just first getting recovery or you're trying to meet people, there's the anxiety of leaving the house. There's the how do you get there? There's the dark nights. There's the parking. There's the money to get there. I think this is absolutely amazing way of getting people together to recover. I mean, I'm not saying it's the only way and face to face, but we do walks too. We can during COVID because the government has said we're allowed up to about 15 people to go on walks. So last week we're at Stewart's Park. This week we're at the Gare, and it's this is the new reality for a lot of the women, and it's like you can recover on your doorstep. You don't necessarily have to move away. And if we recover together and connect, the power in women's circles is amazing.
Yeah. Will you come back on and chat about this more, please? I've got Ellie Lowther sitting in the background here, and she is watching this with real interest, and she's smiling. I think we need to, you two are obviously connected then. She's put I'm going to pop her in the stream. We love Ellie Lowther.
Hi, Annalise. How are you doing, my love?
How you doing, Ellie?
You're looking really well. You're looking really well.
I've been rushing around like a lunatic today. My dogs are downstairs, like the door's shut. I'm like, but we were just saying that doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter what I look like today.
No, it truly doesn't. I totally agree when you said about the Zoom meetings and stuff, because and what I find as well is when people are at home and they're in a Zoom meeting, when you're talking to people, you're actually coming hopefully from your safe space.
Yes.
So I think it helps people to interact more, and I've seen some really good friendships develop around the country just through a screen.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Like, I've got an office next door which I've built. Like, I've got my chair and I've got all my stuff there, thinking, I will go in my office and I will look really posh for me Zoom meetings. I'm in my bedroom. I've got my glittery pillow. Do you know what I mean? I'm sat on my bed. I've got my excuse like the mess. And
it's brought humanity back, hasn't it? A bit more humanity, I think.
And I feel safe.
Lovely.
I like talking to you now. Do you know?
Yeah.
But I will say
we should grab a cup of tea soon. Anyway, me and Demas.
Yeah, and can I just mention something about the Assist Women's Network as well? I need to mention that because they've really empowered me to do a lot of the things that I'm doing today, if that's okay. With the awards and with like the ambassador, Goodwill ambassador thing coming up, and all the networking that they've helped. I think you're part of that, Ellie, or there's a lot of people are part of it anyway. And what I'm trying to say is women helping women and connecting together is very powerful.
Yeah. And also what I love is like I mean, obviously I'm a trans woman and I'm accepted into these places where some people perceive that they're not. And I think sometimes you've just got to actually, you can't sort of think, you can't assume You can't assume the door's going to be slammed. You've just got to be your true self and bring yourself to the party, I feel.
You do, and as long as you follow guidelines and you're respectful to everybody, you know, then of course you're welcome. You know, why wouldn't you be? And that's just like, you know, just respect, isn't it? Like everybody else, you know, you're not. But yeah, the power I can't explain. It's been absolutely amazing. The Zoom sessions, I can't rate it enough. And I think for women, dipping your toe in, you're so welcome to come to these meetings. You know, don't be scared. You don't need to put the camera on straight away either, or if you don't want to put it on at all, that's fine too. Just please come and listen. Just listen, but you know, connect. It's so important.
Can I just say, Ellie and I are like, we look like the doggy. Did you know the dogs at the back of the car, the Churchill doing this? We're like this, doing it, aren't we, Ellie? We're just literally nodding our head as you're chatting away. Will you come back on, and can we do a separate recording that we can put out separately? And would you like to actually join in at the same time? Come on as well, Ellie, because I just think that this would be a really good conversation to inspire women.
I think we've got so many inspirational women in our region. We really have. And similar as Tonia, like if she comes back on, you know, it's like, you know, before Christmas, Tonia helped me source some clothing for some support I was doing for trans prisoners. And, you know, I think we all network and we all help each other. And I think that's how we build our community, I feel.
And it's collaborating with each other, isn't it? And it's so important just with the businesses as well as the women, like who are coming into recovery or from any area. I think we've all got the same vision, the same ethics, the same ethos, you know, haven't we? You know, so we're stronger together.
We really are.
Collaboration over competition.
Yes,
always.
Oh, well, do you know something? We've got Taylor Norfolk. She's already gone. Yes. We honestly, do you know something? We're going to have to do this. We have lost Martin again. He is having huge problems this evening. I'm sure that, you know, Martin's profoundly deaf. So the fact that he's actually just doing this and being able to get onto the live, etc., is just unbelievable.
Well, there's a lot of inspirational men out there as well, such as Martin. Really, truly.
Yeah, he is, honestly, he is brilliant, and he is like the glue to the show, Martin is. So I'm always lost when I haven't got Martin around, and all I've got currently is a little circle in this feed. That's all I've got. I haven't even got his face. So, but what we're going to do, Annalise, is going to get in touch with you, and we'll get you to come on. And Martin has now said he's giving up, which is just unfortunate. But he does say, thank you so much, Annalise, for coming on this evening. Thank you. Oh, well, we're going to let you go, and you take care, my love. Okay, bye-bye.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Bye.
Well, Ellie, we have got you.
Now
Well, Ellie, do you know what I'm going to do? Is whilst he's having a drink, I'm just going to add him into the feed. Because do you fancy doing a little bit of part-time co-hosting?
Dean, how's it going? Is that our Dean?
Oh, I'm on solo. I didn't realise I was on. Hello, everyone.
How are you doing, Dean?
I'm good, thanks. You're looking very well, Ellie.
Oh, bless you. So have you seen a badger yet?
Never, but I've got me custom-made Vince the Goose T-shirt on, but it's a little bit tight, to be honest, because I've piled the weight on.
Can I just say we need a little bit more light on you, Dean, because you're not.
I look better in the dark. Hang on, 2-6, right?
Oh, I've heard that before, Dean. But if the light's in front of you, it works better than the light behind you.
Can I ask, how do you know that? So, listeners, just to let you all know that we have lost Martin this evening, which is unfortunate. Dean, whilst he's switching the light on to himself, so we can actually see that wonderful T-shirt he's wearing. Dean does actually have, hello Dean, you've got a solo show coming up. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Sorry, before I'll be that lady Annalise and Ellie there, inspirational, and kind of what's amazing is those two people there, kind of when you have a struggle, there's two things you can do, and it's really amazing, incredible to see how they've kind of built it as a platform to become incredible. Both stories in their own way are amazing, aren't they? So fair play is superb. Can I just ask, where are you, Anne?
Oh, well, do you know, would you like to know? Is
that your piano?
Do you know something? In my dreams, this is a green screen. I should have actually been in the studio, but I'm actually isolating, and so I've now got a little green screen. But I do have a frock on this evening for everybody. I like to put a frock on. I'm dressed up with my slippers.
You're not hiding away at Elton John's pad then?
No, I'm not. No Pato Bantons either. Or Rusty Lees.
I love the way you say Banton. So, is this my bit now, or is Ellie on? I'm confused here. Is it me
Ellie's
now?
co-presenting with me now.
Dean, do you have banter with Banton?
Yeah, banter with Banton.
That could be a whole new radio show. Banter with Banton.
Yeah, remember the football challenges that were in the summer during the COVID? Yeah. And we raised some money for Gemma Lee to pay for some treatment for the tumour. And there's been other events going on where Craig Ailey was doing some running. He ran 200 miles in a really short space of time. So I've got my solo show, which is online. So basically it's me talking to a computer, a laptop or whatever. So it'll be just all heads on the screen. You can buy tickets. It's promoted by a company called Felt Now, which is a company recently set up by comedians who haven't been getting much work. So it's a non-profit organisation. So all my ticket money, it's not costing me anything. I've got a laptop, a little studio. So all the ticket money from that's going to go to Gemma to pay for the treatment or help go towards some treatment. So it's kind of, yeah.
Do you know something? I was just about to add a banner for you. And I don't think I'm going to be able to on this one. I'm ever so sorry, because normally I can add a banner along the bottom with a little URL. The URL to get tickets is www.feltnout, spelled NOWT.co.uk/event/30. Is that your age, Dean?
Well, I've been 30 for 12 years.
So you do say, Dean, that buy a ticket and funny in the right mood. How do you get into the mood to be funny?
It depends on my day. So on the morning, I'm not very funny, but kind of as the day goes on, it depends on with who's there. So kind of, I've done like assisted Ellie in the studio before. So kind of when the chemistry's right and you feel in the mood, it just comes. It's kind of. And before you know it, you're talking about anything from badgers to penguins to
comedy gold, Dean. Comedy gold.
Kind of Russian dolls, anything really. So it's just getting in that heightened sense of yourself to make it funny. I mean, I haven't got a kind of a script, I won't be honest. I never really plan it. I've got a little spine of it, but I kind of feel if you kind of freestyle and fire enough stuff out there, some of it will be funny. I mean, I don't realise why I'm doing the chopper motion with my hands, but still.
Sorry,
go on, darling.
The show we did, Dean, it was Comedy Gold. I think it was called Boy Winked at My Penguin.
I actually was.
Never forget. Whenever I want cheering up, I go into the archives and I play it. It still makes me laugh now.
Can I ask, where will you be coming from when you do your show? Because obviously that is that your bedroom or your daughter's bedroom?
It's my daughter's. Look, she's got all sorts, and she's got a tiny little clock. I had to be careful how I said that. A Muse album. She's quite cool.
It's what's behind.
Thank you for this, you know, Dane.
Sorry. How to Be a Human Being. I don't know whose album that is. I feel like I'm on the Generation Game. Yes, this is Olivia's bedroom.
And how is Olivia? Because obviously she's going to be going off to university soon, isn't she?
She is, yes, to study philosophy and English literature. Very proud as always. Be sad. I keep offering her, like, do you fancy a gap year? But she's not accepting it. Just please have another gap year. My little princess now is 18. She's going to be fleeing, and it's like
she is so beautiful. She's wonderful.
Don't be telling her this. She's not around. It's great. I won't tell her.
Well, so Dean, It's the solo show is May the 28th.
Yep. But also there's a podcast there's a brand new podcast. It's quite a big one on the 28th of February. It's called Little Bricks. So Lee Flanagan set it up. It's about like obviously inspirational people or how your attitude towards life is, like little bricks to build a big wall type thing. So I'm going to be a guest on that one. And I've been doing some guesting on other podcasts, getting invites. So Barry Dodd has got one about ghosts. So he invited me on, and we never spoke about ghosts.
Hey, Dean, can I ask, what expert are you on ghosts? Are you a ghost expert? Because I know Ellie is.
No, me friend's really into ghosts. He goes all over the country, like haunted houses and stuff, and spends the night. Oh, yeah. And basically, I was a guest on the show, and he asked my opinion, and kind of we'd never really touched on that subject. It was more based around like famous chefs and Pat O'Banton and penguins. So when he asked me the question at the end, I haven't really got an opinion because it depends where I am about ghosts. So if I'm in the right, say I'm in a cemetery at night, burying a pet or something or whatever, a dead pet, obviously, not an alive one, that'd be weird, right? It's kind of, you get a bit spooked, don't you? And you feel things.
Unless it's a pet worm.
Yeah. So kind of, with the ghosts, I'm unsure. I mean, I don't think I've seen a ghost, but I've maybe felt something where, like a smell or a bit of a breeze. Like when someone, but maybe that's because it was like not long after me nana died, and you want something to be there, so maybe your brain's playing tricks on you. I don't know.
Dean, I'm a substitute member of the Ghost Haunted team. So like when we've done when they go out and do events like we did at Susan Gill's place a few times, I've gone along with them and been there for the entire thing. And maybe we should link you up with the Ghost Haunted team and get you out on an actual investigation.
I'll come, but obviously, I can talk. So would that be an issue with the ghosts?
No, talk to spirit. You might be quiet if someone answers you.
Well, Dean, you are podcast this weekend. I know you've been on quite a few podcasts, haven't you? So you've got one coming up on the 20th. Which one's that? The 28th is Little Bricks with Lee Flanagan, the brand new one. And I'm doing one at the end of the month as well, again with Barry Dodds. And I've featured on this thing called Teesside Rising, which is I got interviewed by Lisa. She's called Lisa Lovebucket. What a name! That
was done ages ago. Lovely lady. It was meant to be like a 15-minute chat. It ended up being about 30 minutes, so I think she's had to cut it down because, in case you hadn't realised, I can waffle on a bit. My work's going well, to be honest. I've got a good boss, Marion. Dale just came in. That's going well. Helping loads of people. Really positive. That's it. I got loads of soil, right? Like when the police do raids. Yeah. I requested some soil, so I got loads of soil for a planter in the Thormsby. Yeah. And I've obviously filled it up with my friend. But I've thought, what if they haven't actually, filtered all the stuff out of it? And I've noticed there's seeds in there, so accidentally, I might have started a skunk farm.
I heard something the other week, Dean, which you might find interesting. There was this debate between, there was a family and the son was in prison. And the dad was always really proud of his garden, but he was getting on a bit. So and his son used to help dig it over. So he says, what are you going to do? He says, I'm just going to leave it. I can't dig it over. So anyway, 3 days later, the police turned up at the door. And apparently there was a report that there was a body buried in the garden. And they came and obviously there was nothing there. And then the man gets a letter from his son saying, sorry, it was the best I could do. Just see the garden dug over. Read that like last week, Resourceful.
Oh, well, there you go.
Well, the garden to go over, get someone to tell them there's a body buried in it, and then it's sorted, save you back.
Oh, that's clever, isn't it? That's genius.
On that note, and the fact that the cat's now come in, purely because I've actually got my patio doors open, obviously not these here in my backdrop, and I'm absolutely frozen. I'm going to say we're going to love you and leave you. Dean. Oh, he's so lovely.
Oh, he's superstar,
we love
Dean.
you, Dean. We do. We love you loads. You're going to come back
a million badges, Dean.
When COVID's gone, I will see a badger. But look at the T-shirt, custom made.
It's lovely. Nice t-shirt. Like the t-shirt. Like the t-shirt.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna go.
Do I click off now?
Yeah, we're gonna just kick you out the studio. Goodbye, my lovely. Bye. I love him to bits.
You know, one of the names you mentioned there, you know, and Lee, who does the Little Bricks podcast. Actually, I used to work in the same building as him when we were doing Transwear over at Gloucester House. And you know, like I've had Lee on my podcast, and what an inspirational lad that lad is. You know, from Winnie Banks, and he's got his own backstory, and he's an absolute gentleman. But even before he was doing the media stuff, my interactions with him, he was always like that. You know what I mean? And it's brilliant to see how many amazing people we've actually got in our area.
I know. I know.
Above our weight, I think.
Pardon?
We're totally punching above our weight with quality people.
Oh, well, you know, quality people and also generous people as well, because obviously we could go on forever about Dean and how kind he is, etc. And also Tonia, who I've been unable. We had this problem last time, and she did say, "Shall I come into the studio?" So I'm going to get Tonia into the studio when I'm back in March, because she's just she's so kind, and she helps so many people, and people in Middlesbrough and also obviously Teesside, they are generous people, aren't they?
I mean, like, obviously Tonia's more based like East Cleveland, but she does stuff all over the place. Of course. When she first started off Tees, because like there's the period poverty. Yeah. Like we were having a chat, and I was saying this is an issue that affects trans men as well. Yeah. So she came over with Mark, and they gave us a big box of like sanitary products, what we could hand out to trans men. Do you know what I mean? And it's just, you know, it's not that generosity of like, you know, like, oh, there's a fiver or there's a tenner. It's a generosity of time and also of heart, you know.
Yeah. And this month is the LBG and
Nice segue into that, wasn't it, Anne? Nice segue into that.
Thank you. It's History Month for you. Whilst you're talking, can I just go and close my French doors, please? Because I'm absolutely frozen. Now I've got Ivan back. So just tell everybody a little bit about the month, please. And I'll be back in 2 seconds. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. And as Anne runs off, I'm going to tell you I'm wearing polka dots today because massive Strawberry Switchblade fan, and I did an interview with Jill Bryson from Strawberry Switchblade, and I did the same thing. I had something in the pan, and I had to leave Jill Bryson on Zoom while I went and turned my pan off. That was a bit embarrassing, but there you go. Yeah, LGBT plus History Month. It's, you know, like we hear, you know, Anne, about when people talk about the big times and the big dates, it always seems to revolve around Stonewall. And it seems to revolve around like who threw the first rock or the first shot glass at Stonewall and all that stuff. And when you actually look into the history of LGBT plus, it's so much more than that. It really is. So like, I mean, I delivered a session for Step Forward Tees Valley the other day. And to be honest with you, when you look at the wider history, we're all humans. We're all people, obviously. But in the different time settings, different things have gone on. So you go back to the Middle Ages when the laws came in. I was hoping Martin would be, because he'd be good with this time travel and stuff. So like, I think 1533, King Henry VIII brought in a law which pretty much meant if you were gay, you were going to be killed. And then, but that took the world into that place, from a place where just all relationships are pretty much accepted in different areas. But then in the 1800s, the laws changed again to make it a little bit easier. So like, instead of being killed, you just go to prison. And I've always found it interesting where, like, you know, if you're caught for being gay, you'll go to prison and they'll put you in a big building full of men. It just doesn't seem to matter. Do you know what I mean? But then moving forward, when you look at the Stonewall side of things, you know, that was 1969. And people talk about who threw the first rock and all that stuff. And people say it was a trans person of color, or it was this, or it was that. And there's about 4 or 5 different people who people say it could be. And I hear the name Marsha P. Johnson mentioned. And I think to myself, you know, we talk about this and we talk about Marsha P. Johnson, but nobody really mentions that she was found a couple of years later in the river. And like, I don't think they found a killer. Like, there's a lot of things to do with history that like we aren't actually aware of. But instead of focusing on the Stonewall, let's look 10 years before. Because in the 10 years previous, there was at least 20 instances where there was LGBT activism, shall we say. So, like, instead of saying who threw the first rock at Stonewall, I'd like to go back to 1959 to Cooper's Donuts, because at that point, there was cups, there was everything, and there were donuts thrown at the place. I want to know who threw the first donut.
I know, it's a bit like a party, isn't it?
When we know our history, you know, like it changes the world. It really does. Because I mean, like when on Trans Day of on Trans History Month a while ago, I did a resource, and when you're looking at people from the past, like the person, I think she did the score for Watership Down, started off the life as Wally Stott, a well-known name on the BBC radio. Terry Rogers from the Wheel Tappers and Shunters Social Club. When I was growing up, I never knew that person was trans, and they seem to be accepted everywhere. And I'm thinking, what's happened since then to now, where it's almost like you're a pariah if you're out there living your true self. People say to me, "Oh, you're dead brave," or "You do this and the other," and I think to myself, if I wasn't trans, none of these accolades would even be leveled towards me, because it's almost like, you know, it's like it's because you're this minority or because you're this. When at the end of the day, the point is everybody is an individual, you know.
And at that, currently in the, you know, now, there really is a mixture of people of acceptance, and then other people are, you know, so ignorant as well. And again, the abuse. How bad is it, Ellie?
It's in some areas it's life-threatening, to be fair. A little conduit is if listeners can answer a question. If I said to you, what percentage of the area around you is diverse, think to yourself what number you would put on that percentage. And if you put any number less than 99.9%, then you really need to just like have a look at yourself a bit, because if you're from a background that doesn't understand and experience and know diversity, then as you come across it, you're going to maybe feel that little bit of friction where tolerance is the imposter of acceptance. But the truth of the matter is, whoever's listening to this right now, you might be surprised to know you're actually the only normal person in the world. Everybody else is different to you in some way. And the whole point of inclusion is just finding a way to include everybody. You know, and I just think like having these discussions and talking about it, and like events like LGBT History Month, where we can have a look at the past and see how it's changed, because there was a world where it was okay to be gay, and then there was a world where if you were gay or trans, you would be executed. In a lot of countries in this world right now, it's still the same way. I would put forward though that trans people may be facing the similar discrimination now to what people faced way back in the day. There's a group which is so like pushes for solidarity, and like groups that push for solidarity that promote like transphobia. We're never going to have equality unless we bring everyone with us, and that sometimes means like actually open our minds and understand we're all humans as well. There's a lot of threads to it. We're going to get there though, you know, and I think change started happening for me in my mind, knowing that the world was going to be a more inclusive place. When I was doing my radio show one day, and I had a wave of NCS, young NCS people on the show. That was a bit of an NCS takeover. That
I remember it.
Yes. Yeah. And this young person said to me, "This is Ellie. Why do they call us a snowflake generation? Because we care about each other." And I thought to myself, then I thought, you know something? In a matter of time, the youngsters, they aren't going to have these isms. They've just got no time for them. Do you know what I mean? And these are the people who are going to be running our world. So I think the oldies need to maybe listen to the youngies a little bit and move the world forward, because the world is moving to a more inclusive place with understanding. Totally.
Oh, definitely. And
I've got a shout out as well. You know, I'm doing this resource for Trans Day Visibility, which is at the end of March. And obviously, I know a lot of people in the LGBT communities, but what I want to do is I'd like to, the resource I'm going to do, and I'm going to put it out there so everyone can see it. I'd like to get some authentic voices, and this is trans, but this is more especially non-binary people. And it's like I've got 3 questions. Can I say the questions?
Yeah, of course.
Right, so the 3 questions I've got are this: 1, how did you know? What does it feel like to identify these aspects within the self from a personal perspective? And I don't want like an empirical view. I just want to know a personal view. Second question is, how does the reality of living your truth compare with your expectations? And the third question is, what tips would you give someone who is seeking to be inclusive? Now, what I'd like to do is I'd like people to either arrange to jump on a Zoom with me to answer these questions, and I will just take the audio from the Zoom. If they don't want to put the voice on tape, then they can email me the answers, and I can either use them or have them narrated by somebody else. It'd all be anonymous anyway, because I just think getting authentic voices out there is the way forward to almost like normalizing what people sort of feel isn't normal. Because the truth of the matter is, we've always been there. I mean, look at the numbers. There's 8 billion people in the world. So if you're looking at a conservative estimate of 1% of people being gender variant, then that's 80 million people. That's bigger than the population of the UK, you know. And like, and we think we own the truth. All the truths that people use and perceptions to exclude people, it's sort of like they're little more than realities that are being passed across to them. I mean, my father was born in Calcutta. I'm from a lot of different races. I'm a Christian and I'm also trans. And in the past, because I mean, like it's not a secret. I'm off next week for my gender surgery after 8 years of waiting to get there. And you thought, when I was in the run up to it, I thought I wanted to do something which was like trans reflections, which would be a bit of almost like a letter to my younger self, you know, which I could leave up there. So I'm doing like a 10 series thing, like on my podcast. And the next one I'm doing, because we've just entered the month of Lent, is going to be tackling faith aspects and like my you know, perception, and that'll be out there for people to look. And I just think it's really useful to not shy away from these conversations, because we do shy away from difficult conversations, but social change never happens unless we evolve our understanding. And I can't evolve my understanding on my own. I could only involve my understanding by talking about something with you or with somebody else. You know,
going back to the next week you are actually having your surgery.
I am.
And
never been under anaesthetic in my life.
No, worry about you on that. But the you said that it's taken 10 years. 8 years, sorry. 8 years to get there. Why has it taken so long?
Yeah, well, I mean, to be honest with you, part of it's my own fault. I was nearly 2 years on the waiting list before I got my first appointment. The gender services, they do a brilliant job, they really do, but overstretched, and the waiting list has always been a long time. So in that sense, the NHS has been failing trans and gender variant people for a long time. The waiting list longer now. Once you go and have your first appointment, you generally have a year's wait before your second appointment, and then you can get on hormones. You have to be on hormones level you have to have your hormones on a level, and you have to be on that pathway for about 2 years before you can get your surgery. But then you've also got to get the right BMI. And most people know that even since 2012, I've always had my heart and my soul into supporting people. And when you're supporting others, sometimes that can feed into your own comfort eating and stuff. So I always struggled with weight. And that's why I took the really difficult decision at the back end of last summer that I needed to take my foot off the pedal. And I discovered yoga, and I managed to lose the 4 stone I needed to lose, which means I could access this. And you know, so it's a long, but you know, everybody who's going through this has their own unique story. They truly do, and like not two are the same. But then we have to look as well. I mean, it's not just the trans side of things, because as I say, it is LGBT History Month. I see people, you know, like I was speaking with somebody who was in lockdown, having to stay at home, and this person is a young gay person, and the stresses that are added on because who they are as a person isn't really acceptable to their family, but they're all stuck in the same house, and there's a lot of friction involved. So it's really important that people realize that there is still a really active community out there of people who are supportive. So it's really important to link it. It's only in the past 2 weeks I must have had about 4 or 5 people who were on transition contact me in different forms that I wasn't even aware of previously. You know, and because I think I know loads of people, but there's loads of people that I don't know even, you know, when you look at the numbers.
I know, because the thing is that when you came to CVFM radio, it's a really interesting story of you came in to meet Idris. Tell the listeners, because I think it just sort of shows people that it really is a journey that you have to take.
I used to have a show on Palace FM up in Redcar way back in the day when I was living in Lingdale, and then when, like, a few years on from that, I had a word with Idris and asked if I could come and see him because I'm a radio head. I love radio. I just love it. And I had a word with Idris, and I was sat in the office with him. And I said, look, I want to do this show. I says, and I understand, like, I'm trans, and I understand I want to do this, but I just want to do a show that doesn't focus on me being a trans person. It's almost like normalizing diversity, if you will, because I'm just a person, because anyone can be valid. Anyone, you know, it's your voice on the radio. And it's really funny with that meeting, you know, because I absolutely love Idris. Idris said to me, he says, Ellie, he says, you're pushing an open door. And I says, shut up. I said, I'm pitching here. Let me pitch, because I was pitching for a show, you know what I mean? And like, that's a few years ago now. And now, to be honest with you, CVFM just feels like my home. Okay. It really does, from a radio viewpoint. I absolutely love having my little Sunday morning show. And to the point of, like, I know you have some amazing guests on your show, but similar as DJ Jason does on his, you know, he has some amazing. Do we have to curtsy in front of Jason now?
MBE, may I add?
Does that mean we have to curtsy in front of him? Because I've got a bad knee.
Oh, how amazing is that?
MBE. You know something? He's another amazing person as well. But like some of the guests on the show, you know, I mean, like, I'm beyond pleased because this week alone, because I'm going for my surgery this week, it's a massive week in my life. And when I was growing up, I've always loved polka dots, you know that. But I've loved polka dots because of Strawberry Switchblade. And this week, I managed to spend about 70 minutes on a Zoom call with Jill Bryson from Strawberry Switchblade. And then 10 minutes after that, I am chatting with Rose McDowell from Strawberry Switchblade. So I'm getting hair on as well. And like, we were chatting, weren't we? You actually went to see them back in the day, didn't you?
Yeah, Hanley with my sister Duck.
I'm so jealous, you know. I wanted one of them polka dot rah-rah skirts. I couldn't even tell anybody.
You could have come with us as well. We would have
I'd have loved it. I swear.
We love you.
You know something, like I said to Jill, I says, Ellie's not just for Christmas, you know. Jill's not getting rid of me now. She says, make sure I keep in touch and let her know how it goes. She's going to be thinking of me on the morning of the surgery. And I'm just thinking, oh, Jill Bryson. I was proper fangirl in it, I swear.
Oh, well, good for you. And the other thing as well is that the support network around you for this operation.
I've got it all lined up. I've got it all lined up. But that ties into another aspect of support, you know, because when you speak to people, I mean, I know a lot of people reach out to me if they need a hand in different areas around inclusion and diversity. I know I deliver sessions and stuff, but on a pastoral level, I do a lot, like I facilitate group for an autism college, and I do different things in different areas. But you know something, I'm linked in with some amazing people, like my friends Barbara and Denise, who run a lot of, they run like a support group in the Durham area. You know, like people over in the Redcar area. There's so many people that are doing amazing things in our area. Naz, you know something, I would love you to get Naz on your show one day. Naz is an absolute legend. Naz has been running a thing called Beyond the Binary, supporting non-binary people for as long as I can remember. And when you're looking at that side of things, you know, we need to be echoing their voice. We really do.
And we need to be talking about it more, because I personally don't think we talk about it enough. And also, as well as, can I obviously just mention Emma, because Emma is, she's just wonderful.
She's brilliant. She really is. Keeps me in order.
And she is the person that's going to be looking after you,
Yes.
After your operation as well. If it gets too much, I've told you, you can
you know something, I've got a taxi on standby on speed dial. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and listeners as well, this is your last show this Sunday at 9 o'clock till 12 o'clock.
It's going to be the Strawberry Switchblade Sunday morning show.
Yeah. And next Sunday, which is the 28th, I am actually I've been given the honour by yourself of actually covering your show for the Sunday morning. So I'm going to be standing in for you, and we've actually got some interviews that you've done.
You know what I've got for you? For that, what I've got for you, you're going to love it. I've got an interview. You know when I mentioned to Dean about Ghost Haunted?
Yeah.
I've got an interview for you with them. I've also got an interview with a trans firefighter who runs in houses that are burning. I've got an interview with. I'm absolutely, you know, something like I was absolutely honoured to speak with this person, and I've also connected, and I'm going to try and have it in the can for when the show is a piece for with a trans police officer. So you will have them resources from our show. So even though I may not be with you physically, I will still be doing interviews on the show. And you know something, thank you very much for doing my show, because I couldn't think of anyone better to. You'll probably increase my listeners numbers.
No, you won't. They'll go down. But the other thing as well is that, because obviously you're having your up next Wednesday, fingers crossed. I'm doing the show on the Sunday, and you did say that on the Friday they get you up and walking about, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I don't know. I'm just, you know, something. They've done thousands of these. I know I'm in good hands. I'm not going to overthink it. I'm just, if they say sit there, I'm sitting there. If they say do this, I'm doing this. Simple as that. You know what I mean? I'll tell you one thing though, and this is a little tip for people. Where if you've got a friend who's going through a transition, and they're going for the final up, I'm not sure what world it's okay, you know, where people say to you like, oh, give us a look, because I've heard that from quite a few people, and I'm thinking to myself, what's going on? Do you know what I mean? Remember boundaries, people.
Well, I certainly wouldn't be saying to you.
No, I don't mean you. I'm just, it's a thing. It's a thing. It's a thing.
Really?
Oh, you know, one thing, you know, while we're talking, you know, I've been having some chats about with some organisations, and we're looking at things into screening, like, you know, like the cervical screening and breast cancer screening, because when you're transgender, variant, non-binary, however you want to term it, there's a lot of issues around that area, obviously. So like I'm hopefully going to be helping out with some resources to make the leaflets and stuff a lot more inclusive, and I actually think if I have a word with the people I'm speaking to, that if you don't mind, I'll try and pass them across to you, Anne, because they could be perfect, you know, because the screening aspect, it doesn't just affect people like me, it affects everybody, and it can save your life. Do you know what I mean? So I'd love to put them in touch with you for yourself for a future show.
Please do, because one of my sister's friends, he's waiting for surgery for breast cancer, and next month it's there's something to do with testicular cancer, and I always feel as well is that we don't raise these enough, and especially across the entire community, it is so important. So Ellie Lowther,
I could be a roving reporter, couldn't I?
I think we could do this. Do you know we used to do a show together?
You know, I know, but you know the thing is though, because I felt for you when you said you didn't have your notes. I thought, what are you going to do? You haven't got your notes, because my show, it's a freeform radio show. I rock up there. I don't know what the show is going to be about or anything. I just do it because that's just me. But Anne, bless you, I absolutely love you. But Anne's very formed and ordered, and so we can't actually be in the same studio, can we, my love? But this works. This works.
But can I just say, I do actually have notes. But the thing was that Martin usually puts another planning on top, because I'm at university doing Teesside Winter School, which anybody who has thought about doing a short course, get yourself onto the Teesside. Obviously now it'll be their summer school. They are absolutely fabulous.
They do ranger courses as well, don't they?
Absolutely brilliant. So I'm doing 2 of those at the moment, and then also as well as got the show and other bits and pieces as well. So normally my level of planning, which you know is quite intense, normally I've actually got a lot of planning, and Martin's been doing it. And unfortunately this evening, and I feel for Martin because we've had problems the last couple of weeks where he hasn't been able to lip read because he is profoundly deaf, and so it's obviously it's not good, but I'm sure we're going to be able to overcome this, because he is such a star.
Yeah, I've just had a little idea, and like people in our region, they see you doing your radio stuff, going around interviewing all loads of other people and stuff, and I don't think anybody's ever actually interviewed you.
No.
Yeah, that's right. So you know something, Anne. Where are you actually from?
I'm from Stoke, Duck.
I know, you're a Stokey bird, aren't you?
I'm a Stokey bird, a proud Stokey bird from the Potters. As I
First time I met you, it was at one of the Christmas parties at CVFM.
Yeah.
And you came in and I says, "Wow, give me an hand. You know that pro bono thing? That means you don't charge." And I think we were friends from then, were we?
Well, you actually thought I was a solicitor, which made me smile because I thought
you look like a solicitor.
I think it was what I was dressed in. Obviously, but I could have said something witty then, but I thought, no, don't. But the thing is that when you said to me, when I said, "Oh, I do marketing," and you went, "Oh, pro bono," you just took the wind out of my sails and you made me laugh. And I just thought, I really like this person. And then obviously Murray came and helped you as well.
Yeah.
Both of us just sat you down and literally just tried to help. But I think I think it's fair to say that as time's gone on, I think we've both matured as well. Yeah.
Because I mean, like I remember when you started, because you used to do a piece on was it on Sam's show?
MBE.
The fishing report. The fishing report. And then like, wow. Now it's like, wow. It's like, yeah. And you're really there and you're absolutely everywhere. You're a really active person. And I know that you're flying all over the place, like in general. How have you coped and dealt with lockdown?
Oh, well, I work from home. But I genuinely would say that if I didn't actually have my cat and my dog, I would really, really be low. Because you can spend the fact that I've got Soph, who's just walked into the room. If I didn't have her, I wouldn't have any reason to go outside. And I would literally be sitting working because I am a bit of a workaholic. Here she comes, she's coming over. And so coming to CVFM radio as well to do the show is really, really nice because you get to see people and actually have a conversation with people. So I'm quite a bubbly person, but it has been tough. It has been tough. And that's why I really feel for people who are struggling with the lockdown number 3 because it's my family aren't up here in the northeast of England. They're all in Stoke. I miss my family.
I totally get it. I mean, remember the time when we used to just be able to go places? I mean, like I remember like me and thee, we travelled down to Liverpool, didn't we, for the National Diversity Awards night? And that was, like the people who I've met there, I'm still even in touch with now, and absolutely amazing people. Do you know what I mean? That was a night and a half, wasn't it?
Oh, and do you know something with that evening as well? Because any opportunity to wear a frock, I am here with the frock. And the fact was that when we arrived, we made sure that we spent those literally, it was like 24 hours.
Oh, we filled it.
We really filled it. We went to the cavern, and I was do you know something? I was so proud that you'd asked me, and to actually go there and support you, and also look after you as well. And
I was really pleased that you came as well. I was really pleased that you came along because we had a good laugh.
We did,
going to the cavern and on the night. And I remember the next day we went back across and we had a look in the Anglican Cathedral. Once all of the tables had gone down, because I remember my mum, you know, God rest her soul, she passed away in 2010, and she always used to tell me that she loved Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? So when we went in there and I seen these candles, so it gave me the opportunity to light a candle in the Liverpool Anglican Cathedral for my mum. Do you know what I mean? Sort of thing. And it's like, you know, it's like some really special memories. It was absolutely lovely. So thanks for sharing them with me.
Oh, it was just wonderful. And as always, we get the table where we have everybody coming across. We had the mayor of Liverpool, first female mayor of Liverpool.
I chased Tined from Brookside. I chased him down the thing. Tined. And then later on in the night, I'm talking to some other people, and we wanted a photo taken. So I seen Tined over in the corner, so I shouted him, and he come over. What's up, Ellie? I said, will you take this picture for us?
There you go. And we also had what was the gentleman, the football pundit as well?
Oh, Chris Kamara, yeah.
Go. I've not got a clue who they are, but we did do some recording from
Matty
there.
Barton from Emmerdale. Well, you know something? Matty Barton from Emmerdale. I had about a 10-minute chat with him, and he's just as lovely as you'd imagine he'd be. And I said to him, I love the fact that they've got like a trans actor playing a trans role in that sense. And he said to me at the time, he says, you know something? He says, that's where he's coming from. He just wants to be able to like have that role and play it as a regular person, because the truth is, all diversity, everyone's just a bit different anyway. And it's absolutely lovely people, you know, absolutely lovely. And
it's so important that trans actors do get that opportunity to play that role as a trans
you've got to be a good enough actor, though. You've got to be a good enough actor, because it can't just be like a pity vote or just a token vote. Or, you know, a token casting. It's got to be somebody who can actually bring a role justice. You know what it's like, is, you know, like when you go to see a play or something. It doesn't really matter who is playing the role. It matters is, can they play the role? Because that's for me. Like, I'm not really political about the whole you must have trans people playing trans roles, or I sort of feel as if the best actor should play the best role. I mean, who was it? It was a cisgendered woman who played Bob Dylan in a film. Do you know what I mean? Anyone can play a role, you know, as long as you've got the acting skills to do it. Crack on. Let the buyer beware.
The other thing I was going to ask you as well is that going back to the LGBT History Month, the theme for this February is body, mind, spirit.
I'm so glad you've said that. I'll tell you why I'm glad you've said that. Wow. Because mind, body, spirit, right? You know I'm a Martha, don't you? You know I'm one of the punk rock Marthas, and what our gig there is. I was actually speaking with Angie yesterday. And what the gig with that is we're going to think out, speak out, and act out for social change, you know. And like, you know something, mind, body, and spirit. Mind, think out. If you see something around you that you feel like it needs to be better, more inclusive, make your area better, do it. Body, act out. Mind, body, spirit. Speak out when you see an injustice. People say mind, body, spirit. And it's a very ambiguous term, but when you think of mind, body, spirit, think, act out, think out, speak out. Do you know what I mean? No, think out, act out, and speak out, because that is your physical representation of doing that. And like, I think it's absolutely brilliant that this year for LGBT plus History Month, the focus is mind, body, and spirit. Really, I think it's amazing. Sorry, I interrupted you.
You didn't. And I totally agree with you. What PHSE?
Yes.
What's that?
Oh, don't be doing it. It's personal health, and that it's all about your well-being, and it's all that side of things, isn't it? You know, personal health.
Okay.
It's about you know, I'm a massive fan of Soren Kierkegaard, and like all truth is subjective. So like your well-being is important, but what your well-being looks like to you is different from what my well-being looks like to me. So like, you know, these like, you know, like it's like people, you know, like people chuck letters out there, and like I'm not a big fan of chucking all the letters out there. I'll give you another, for instance, BAME. Now I did a bit of a test because I hear people saying like BAME, and they're saying like, you know, black and minority ethnic. So I thought, that's not right. So I asked people, what does BMA mean? Just off the top of your head. And about 8 out of 10 people said it was black and minority ethnic. And the truth is, it's black, Asian, and minority ethnic. People will use letters as just a skim over rather than just, you know, like, so like, same as that, like, so like, if we're going to talk about well-being, let's talk about well-being. I think we need to evolve our understanding, don't we?
And I think, especially because of lockdown number 3, our well-being, whether it's physical, whether it's mental health, mental well-being, is so important. But everybody, isn't
Young
it?
people, I had, you know, Ruth, is it pure well-being arts? Ruth, I had on my show, Ruth Hawkes, I think she's called, absolutely brilliant. And she's doing things about art and drama for school-age children that they can be delivered via Zoom, and working with schools for that sort of thing as well. There's someone else you could do with having a chat with.
Thank you. Well,
you're welcome. I'll just need a load of them.
Thank you. Well, we need more. We need more conversations, because the more we talk about it, the more everybody just feels as though it's part.
And you know, music's really important, don't you? And just before I go, you know, music's really important. Now, a lot of us know in the region Dan Donnelly. Dan Donnelly is an absolute legend. Absolute. Dan Donnelly is also a member of a band now called the Celtic Social Club, and has been for a while. And if you've heard of them, you know them. I know you'll love the music because they're just peerless, they're just amazing. Now, they've got a thing which I'm now a member of. I've joined the Celtic Social Club, and it's £20 a year. And what you do is you get access to different special things in the members area. It's like being a kid again, being in a fan club. You'll get your membership card, you'll get discount on merch, and I think you get an LP sent to you as well. It's such good value for money. And, you know, there's a lot of musical artists that aren't able to go out there and work at the minute because of the way the world is. And, you know, at the end of the day, our joy in our life is the songs in our hearts, and it's the people who bring these songs to us as well. So I think we really need to look after our artists and our art communities. So you know something, if you like the music of the Celtic Social Club, join the club. And you know something, you won't regret it. I hope you don't mind me giving a plug for them there.
Oh,
I'm really passionate about this sort of thing. I think it's important because we're almost building new communities moving forward out of lockdown, you know.
And it's interesting actually, because I'm absolutely loving the RuPaul Drag Race. I absolutely.
I never used to like RuPaul Drag Race. I'm addicted to this one.
Totally addicted. I love it. But what they did do when, obviously, I think it was the first lockdown when they started the filming of this series, and they actually had the lockdown. And what they did is that they gave them all cameras to actually, and obviously they could record what they're talking about. And it was really, really interesting to get an insight into the world of the drag world, where they literally had the rug pulled from underneath them. And of course, obviously, you've got Lawrence Chaney up in Glasgow.
And taking a Scottish accent, apparently.
Lawrence Chaney. I love Lawrence Chaney. And then obviously you've got I forgot. It
was quite sad for Veronica though, wasn't it? Because I think, you know, I could see Veronica, like, you know, with the skills with the singing and all of that, I could see Veronica like moving forward, even taking a role same as like down the Lily Savage route, you know, like a bit of TV stuff with the song and dance and that.
Well, I actually think Lawrence Chaney, out of all of them, and also as well as Bimmy, who actually, talking about non-binary, I thought that was very, very good.
No, definitely. What do you think of Ahura? Sometimes Ahura, I absolutely love her, and sometimes I'm thinking, don't be nasty. But there's something about her which you're just in a corner as well. It's really, isn't it? It's a strange thing. It's like The Masked Singer. It's a strange thing that we just absolutely love. And I love the fact that Joss Stone was on that, because I'm a massive Joss Stone fan. Yeah. She was on TV, you know, and she said every decision she makes, she's making it on a happiness scale now. If it doesn't mark over 5 on a happiness scale, she's not going to do it. And I think we could all do with doing that. I think that's what I've been doing anyway. But I think we could all do with that in life, Anne.
Well, I definitely. A happiness scale, mental happiness, physical happiness is so important, isn't it?
Did Tonia manage to get back on?
Pardon?
Did Tonia manage to get back on?
No, she didn't, unfortunately.
What was she going to be talking about? Was she going to be talking about the clothing bank?
Yeah, she was going to be talking about the clothing bank, the period poverty, everything that they're doing at the moment. And listeners, do go and check out.
They are amazing. And one of my friends from my community volunteers. Do you know what I mean? Anybody can get involved. If you think that you want to do something, don't worry where you're from, what culture, what your background. Because when you go into these arenas to help people, it's got nothing to do with like how much you got in your pocket or like, you know, what accent you've got or what like sexuality or gender identity you've got. It's about whether you've got the heart to go in there, join a team and make a change. But if you're not going to be present there, then obviously then these organizations and stuff aren't going to have the experience of actually showing you how inclusive they can be.
And also as well is that it isn't just the physical of being there. You could actually help them on the internet side, on websites, on social media, because a lot of these organizations do actually need specialists that can actually do that as well. So there's always lots of different things you can do.
I put a Facebook post up, you know, about something to do with about I feel really blessed right now in my life and all my dreams are coming true, and a couple of people who are trans have put really kind words saying like, you know, how much like they respect me and stuff like that. And like I said to one of them, I said, you know something, anybody who goes out there living as their true self, you know, they are my role models. They truly are, because I know, like, when I first come out, like, I lived in Middlesbrough, and then it was too tough starting at Lingdale, and I couldn't go presenting as male. And when you go on all that time and you might still be waiting to get on hormones, it's such a difficult thing to do, to be brave enough to actually go out as your true self. And like, so like I applaud anybody who is in that position, you know, and like if there's anybody in that position who isn't linked up with me, like, give me a shout, because there's a lot of support I'm aware of that you might not be aware of. Do you know what I mean? I just want to put that out before the end of the show. Is that okay? I've done it now anyway, haven't I? There you go.
My lovely. Good luck next week.
Yeah.
Sending you huge hugs from everybody at CVFM Radio. We are so proud of you, and we love you lots. You know we love you lots. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this section of the chat and put it as a separate section as well. So because I think it's really important that we share the message out there of the inclusivity.
Everybody, a society only works when everybody's part of it. Ollie Alexander did this speech at Glastonbury, and he said, I don't know how we're going to get there, but the only time we get there is when we all get there together. Now, I put it up on YouTube, and then I went and it had a copyright claim put on it from BBC. So I challenged the copyright claim on BBC, and I said, look, why would you want to stop such an inclusive message? I paid for my license and I recorded it and that. And you know something, I forgot about it. 2 months later, I went back and they removed the copyright claim on it. I fought the BBC, and you know something, if you Google Ollie Alexander Glastonbury speech, I think it's the only version of it that's up on YouTube, and it's had about 14,000 views. I'm so proud that that message is out there, but we are never going to get anywhere unless we get there together. So let's get there.
We're going to get there together, and sending you lots of love, sending Emma love as well. Who's a superstar, because I think she's coming and out.
Yeah, she's down. She's like, she keeps me in order, you know what I mean? And like, obviously, because like I'm pretty much shielding, so it's just keeping, you know, like, and when I come out after hospital, I'm really, really going to need that support, because it's not, again, you can't do it on your own. We need support, but we need to be okay to reach out for support, but we also need to be okay to accept support, because some people are proud and they don't like to.
Oh no! So don't forget, if it gets too much,
you know something, like I know, like I say, like you've offered, and like I was blown away, and like if it gets too much, or if that occasion comes up, I will be in a taxi over to yours. I promise you.
Well, take care, my lovely, and I'll look after your show next week.
Bless you. You know something, you'll do a better job of it than I will. That's for certain.
I'm no DJ.
You probably start on time. That's a bonus. That's more than I do.
I'll be in bed. Anyway, you take care, my lovely, and huge thank you to yourself, all the guests, and also as well for CVFM Radio for actually giving this platform for people in the community to talk about issues that are really important to be talked.
Truly a community voice.
It really is. And thank you so much, Idris, because he is amazing.
You know something? I think we need to. Idris needs to be really. People need to know that how inclusive it is, and that's all. From our viewpoint, that is down to Idris.
Oh, definitely. Lovely gentleman, so helpful, so forward thinking, really great, and a huge thank you as always. So take care, my love. I'll speak to you in the week, and you look after yourself, and fingers crossed.
Legs crossed. See you later.